Rain poured over the city like tears from the heavens that night. The glass tower of Hamilton Enterprises gleamed under lightning flashes. But inside, behind the tinted windows, sat Evelyn Hamilton, the youngest female CEO in the company's history, powerful, brilliant, yet utterly broken. Her trembling hands gripped the edge of the mahogany table as her board members filed out one by one, leaving only silence in their wake. They had voted her out her own father's company on accusations of instability and poor leadership. But none of them knew what she was going through. None of them cared that the sleepless nights and shaking hands weren't from arrogance, but from grief. 3 months ago, Evelyn had lost her fiancé, Daniel, in a car accident. He had been her anchor, her only link to normalcy in a world of ruthless competition. And now, stripped of her position, betrayed by those she trusted, and utterly alone, she stood in the empty boardroom, her strength finally breaking. "Please," she whispered into the emptiness, her voice cracking, "don't leave me here alone." But no one heard. No one except the janitor standing by the doorway, holding a mop. His name was Ethan Cole, a single father who worked night shifts to support his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. He wasn't supposed to be there. He usually started on the lower floors, but that night, fate had other plans. He hesitated, watching the powerful woman everyone feared crumble like a child. She had always walked past him without a glance, her heels clicking like thunder, her perfume lingering long after she was gone. Yet here she was, sobbing quietly, fragile and human. Ethan placed his mop aside and stepped forward slowly. "Miss Hamilton?" Evelyn flinched, turning sharply. Her mascara had smudged, her eyes red. "What are you doing here?" I didn't mean to intrude," he said softly. "But you shouldn't be alone right now." Her lips quivered. For the first time in years, she didn't have a sharp retort ready. She just sank into a chair, her voice barely audible. "I've lost everything." Ethan pulled another chair and sat a few feet away. "No, you haven't. You're still breathing. That means there's still something left." She gave a bitter laugh. "You don't understand. My career, my reputation, my life, it's all gone." He looked at her for a long moment before saying quietly, "I do understand. I lost my wife 3 years ago. Cancer. One day she was there. Next, she wasn't. I wanted to give up too." Evelyn's eyes lifted, meeting his for the first time. There was no pity in his gaze, only honesty. "What stopped you?" she asked softly. "Lily," he said with a faint smile. "My daughter, she still needed me. I realized that even when everything breaks, love gives you a reason to start over." Something shifted inside Evelyn that moment. It wasn't healing, not yet, but a spark of warmth in the darkness. A week later, Evelyn sat in the cafe across from the company building. Her phone buzzed endlessly, lawyers, reporters, investors, but she ignored them. She watched Ethan walk in, his uniform still damp from rain, his little girl trailing behind, clutching a pink umbrella twice her size. Lily spotted Evelyn and ran up to her. "Miss Evelyn, I drew something for you." Evelyn smiled, surprised. "For me?" The little girl nodded and handed her a crayon drawing, a tall woman standing beside a small girl under a bright sun, both smiling. Underneath were the words, "You're not alone anymore." Evelyn's throat tightened. "This is beautiful," she whispered. Ethan sat down quietly, watching her reaction. She insisted. "Said you looked like you needed a friend." Evelyn looked up at him, tears glimmering in her eyes. "Maybe I do." From that day, something gentle began between them. It wasn't romance at first, it was healing. Evelyn would sometimes join Ethan and Lily at the park, bringing snacks and laughter she didn't know she still had inside her. She learned to bake cookies, poorly at first, and Ethan teased her about her charcoal masterpieces. Little by little, the coldness around her heart melted. She started consulting for small businesses, using her experience to help those who couldn't afford big-name firms. The same board that once betrayed her watched in shock as her name began rising again. But this time, it wasn't from power. It was from compassion. One evening, after dropping Lily off at a friend's house, Ethan found Evelyn sitting by the riverside, gazing at the reflection of city lights on the water. "You've changed," he said softly, taking a seat beside her. She smiled faintly. Babe, I finally found something worth changing for. They sat in silence, the wind brushing past, carrying memories of pain and hope alike. Evelyn turned to him, her voice trembling slightly. Ethan, that night in the boardroom, when you stepped forward, I didn't realize it then, but you saved me. He looked at her, eyes warm. You saved yourself. I just reminded you that you still could. A tear rolled down her cheek, but this time it wasn't from sadness. It was release. She took his hand gently, the first act of trust she'd shown in years. Thank you for not leaving me there alone. He squeezed her hand back, smiling. You'll never be alone again, Evelyn. Months later, Evelyn launched a new initiative, the Phoenix Foundation, to help widowed parents and those recovering from personal or professional loss rebuild their lives. Her first donors were none other than the janitors, clerks, and workers who once looked up at her as an untouchable CEO. She no longer lived in a glass tower. Instead, she lived among people, real people like Ethan and Lily, who had taught her the truest form of strength, to rise again, not despite pain, but through it. And on the night of the Foundation's grand opening, as cameras flashed and applause echoed, Evelyn spotted Ethan in the crowd holding Lily, both smiling proudly at her. She smiled back, tears glistening under the lights, whispering to herself, I'm not alone anymore. Moral of the story, even the strongest fall. But true strength lies not in never breaking, but in allowing others to help you stand again. Love, compassion, and connection can heal what success and power never could.